The desire to get ahead financially is one of the things that most people strive for. However, you've probably noticed that it is quite a hard path. There are so many things working against you. Advertising telling you left, right, and center how you should be spending your money, and it seems like a constant uphill battle. In this video, I'm sharing ways on how to actually hack your brain in order to stop being tempted by the shiny objects in the distance and instead learn to love the process of saving so you yourself can indeed get ahead financially and have a prosperous future. Hujambo, my name is Sorella Moore and welcome to this Finance and Freedom channel. First of all, if you're brand new here, make sure you do subscribe. We put out videos every Tuesday and Thursday on all things finance and freedom. I really think you'll love this community, so stick around. If you love reading and absorbing information through stories, I highly recommend you subscribe to our newsletter. Leon is an exceptional writer that infuses the information with very valuable information, so sign up in the link in the bio. And finally, if you want to get ahead even more financially, make sure you check out the pre-sale of our new course and membership combo. Huge discount for lifetime access, link in the bio for that as well. Recently, I made a video that was pretty popular about how you are programmed to stay poor. In this video, I have some very concrete hacks that I've used myself in order to override programming so I fall in love with the process of saving money. Now, I know that it might sound a bit intense. Why would you want to hack your brain? Because unfortunately, whether you like it or not, our brains are being targeted left, right, and center by really powerful organizations, advertising and marketing companies with endless budgets, constantly telling you how you should think. Mix that with peer pressure. It's just not a really good environment for your brain to operate in and to be in control of the decisions you make. You probably know this for yourself. You want to make a new habit in your life become part of your core, but for some reason, things just slip and slip and slip. And then you look in the mirror and you're like, what happened? Where did I go wrong? Oftentimes it's because you've handed over the steering wheel to somebody else with a lot of a marketing budget in order to persuade you to act a certain way and to choose a life more comfortable. Because humans, we're creatures of habit. It's obviously much easier to take the road more often traveled than the one that is harder. I've seen this for myself. There are many things that I've put on the plate for myself to do, and yet I can't believe the person that thinks that she's got such a strong mind. Why on earth can I not learn piano? I've tried for so long. Why can't I learn Icelandic faster? What is wrong with me? Let's not pretend that we are invincible, and let's learn the ways of actually getting ahead. And this first way is one of my absolute favorites that I just actually can't believe how powerful this strategy is. It is a little bit of work, but I think you are going to love it. Once you do it, it's going to change your life forever. Attach an emotional response to saving. Humans operate very strongly through emotions. If there is a strong emotional attachment to something, an outcome, for example, say that you see a beautiful dress in the shop window and you're like, wow, that looks so nice. I totally need that. And you start imagining all the compliments you might receive, all the attention, how beautiful and great you're gonna feel once you have that dress. Because if you don't have that, you absolutely cannot feel that way. It's a strong emotional response. Whereas if you wanna save and not buy that item, you're then struggling with yourself thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't buy this, but what's the attachment towards that? You probably haven't thought of all the ways that not buying that dress is going to be beneficial for you. So this exercise involves writing down a lot. I'm sure that you've heard people say there's so many benefits to saving, and you rationally can comprehend how great it is. But humans, we are wired much more to react to pain. If there's a painful instance, we are more likely to act from that. So by writing down 50 to 100 reasons, wherever you feel a shift in your mind, literally thinking, oh, saving's awesome. Keep writing the very huge downsides to not saving. It could be that you are screwing yourself over in the future. It could be that you don't have enough money to go visit your family in the future. It could be that you will not have enough money to put food on the table. It could be that your emotional stress is elevated much more and you can't sleep properly because you do not have money to pay the rent upcoming. So it's putting all these really concrete, actual things that are going to result from you not being able to save the money. Once you've done that and you really feel the pain of not saving money, I invite you to then switch the tables around and write 50 to 100 reasons of why it is really amazing for you to save money and get ahead financially. I actually have a book. I would like to show you this. Welcome to the mind of a 22-year-old, I think, Sorel. So this was my vision book that I created, literally falling apart. More so now. Here is not the time to write what you would spend your money on. No, that is not what you want to be doing, because then you're just fueling yourself more and more to become a consumer. 100 reasons as to what is beneficial for you and your lineage, your family, your future, the world. Why is it that it's important for you to become financially successful? Number 1 for me was freedom, believe it or not. 2, health. 3, work on my own terms. Travel, support my family. If you can associate becoming filthy rich and or becoming financially independent with as many great and tangible reasons, it is such a strong emotional response. You are no longer going to look at dresses and think, I need that, because you are so focused on the goal that you will not sway just because there's shiny objects put in front of you. This was one of the most important things I have ever done for myself. So I really hope, yes, it takes time. Yes, you have to think, but I really hope you do this, because our brain is a computer and you can overwrite all programming, but it does take time and effort. Put on a song, enjoy yourself, have some wine, whatever else, just write down the list. Enjoy the process. It is beautiful. It is you literally rewriting your brain for success. Think of prices in terms of hours. One of the most valuable things that you will ever have in your entire existence is time. There is no amount of time that you can ever buy, and you can't get it back. It is the most valuable currency that you'll ever possess. If you start thinking of items in terms of how many hours it would take for you to buy that, for example, I used to make $20 Australian roughly an hour when I was a bartender. So there was at times, a garment, $40. That's 2 hours of my life. Would I be willing to stand there on my feet for 2 hours, serve rude customers, or really nice ones as well? I had a lot of those as well. Pour beers, clean up after customers, wake up at stupid hours to get to my bar shifts, go to bed at stupid hours. Would I be willing to sacrifice 2 of those hours in order to have that item? Oftentimes, I found that the answer was no. And it saved me from spending money on crappy things that I would regret later. Because again, it is your blood, sweat, and tears that you're putting into your work. And that means that these items of clothing are a result of that. This works for small items. This works for big items. Say that there is a TV that you want to buy and it's $2,000. My Lord Almighty, that's so many hours for most people in order to buy that TV. Maybe there's a way that you don't have to buy the TV. You can get yourself a laptop so you can be productive, build your online business on your laptop, as well as being able to watch Netflix if you are really into Netflix or Hulu, whatever. Now, I'm not saying that you need to deprive yourself of all pleasures in life and just hoard your money. No, I will have to admit though that I was definitely a hoarder of my cash when I was young, only because I had a very clear priority of what I wanted to spend my hard-earned time on. Not money, hard-earned time on. I was always in my whole life, and still am, prioritizing health, freedom, which included travel, and education, because I knew it would help me to progress and make myself more valuable to society, and that in turn would then help to fund my other dreams, which was to be healthy and to have freedom. So even though to a lot of people, their perception of me, because I wasn't dressed very well, was, oh, that's a bit sad, why doesn't she have the latest and greatest things? My joy came from spending my hard-earned time on travels and expanding my viewpoint that way. So yes, I sacrificed in the short term looking good for other people, but it definitely brought me more joy. So having a very clear priority of what you are saving your money for, so you don't get tempted by societal pressures, for example, is super important. So what is the most important thing for you? Maybe it is fashion. Maybe you are absolutely willing to spend 2 hours of your life for that piece of clothing. It could be it, because it brings you so much joy, and you need to figure that out for yourself. What is it that brings you that much joy, and what is it that you're willing to sacrifice your hard-earned time for? Sleep on it for 30 days. This is a hilarious thing to talk about, considering I'm sitting on something that I made a total reactionary purchase to that I did not sleep on for 30 days. I was on the search for a couch. I was like, it'd be nice to have a couch for my office. Lockdown, made you want to decorate your house beautifully so that you would be surrounded by beautiful things. And so I walk into the store and there is this couch that I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And then I find out there's a 30% off sale and it's ending in 3 hours. I stayed in that shop for 3 hours staring at this couch. It is literally the second most expensive thing I've ever purchased in my entire life after houses. So houses, yes, I've got 5. I've definitely spent a lot on houses. This couch right here, I'll tell you what it is. It was $5,000 US. To a lot of you, you might be thinking, oh, it's a couch, it might be worth it. Some people might be outraged right now because you can get couches for a lot less than this. But in my head, I was justifying it as, it's 30% off. I'm gonna be saving this much money. I should definitely buy it. It is beautiful. When it finally arrived, I didn't like the color. I didn't like it at all. I bought it so spontaneously that I think I actually chose the wrong color. I'm praying to the Lords right now that it turned out to be the perfect color because I painted the room and it somehow fit. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I still have this really weird negative connotation to this couch because I hate the fact that I bought it as a reactionary purchase. I think about this so often. I talk about this couch so much as me telling the story of how I spent so much on this couch, how I'm really disappointed in myself that I reacted this way. So not only did it cost me a lot when it comes to physical money, but it also has cost me a lot of mental space because I keep looking at this with a little tiny bit of regret. Like, why on earth would I spend that much money on a couch? I could have used this cash to buy a car. I could have used it down to improve a house, to make the tenants pay more for the rent because I improved the house more. I could have used it to have a personal trainer for months to get my body in check. Like, there are so many things that I could have spent this money on, and instead I get a couch that I use to film on. Like, I'm on this couch a little bit, but I would have been on a different couch a lot more. So reactionary buys are so painful, not only because they eat your hard-earned cash, hard-earned time, but because it also just sits on your brain. You stare at it with a little bit of disappointment, like, why did I do that? I'm so disappointed in myself because there was a 30% off sale. I never wanted a couch like this in the first place. I just saw it and I was like, I'm going to save 30%. I better get this couch. If you miss out on an item because the sale has ended, so be it. You probably didn't want that thing in the first place. You probably didn't need it in the first place. Think about the things that you really want and keep your eyes focused on that. Maybe it is for 30 days. Look at a couch that you admire for so long and just watch. Maybe it will go on sale, but you are so set that that is the couch you want and you're gonna be so happy with it when you get a discount on it if it arrives. And if not, even if you pay full price, at least it's the thing that you really wanted and you slept on it for at least 30 days and you're like, that's what I want. I know it's gonna fill my space with joy, Marie Kondo style. Spark joy or doesn't spark joy? This sort of sparks joy, but not for the price point that I paid for it. Sleep on it for at least 30 days. Don't react to sales because they suck and they eat up your hard-earned time. Make saving a habit. If I had $1 for every single time that someone said, oh, I wish I could save, but you know, it's just so hard. I just can't do it. Can't seem to get ahead ever. Blah, blah, blah. I just can't seem to make the money by the end of the month. I'm always just living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm not saying people that legitimately are struggling with this issue, that they're just legitimately covering their expenses. I'm talking about people that often have very lavish items to show off, but they have $0 in their bank accounts. That is the majority of today's, you guys probably, sorry, no offense, but I hear this story so often and it drives me insane. You simply have not made it a habit in order to save. It is not your fault. I told you, your brain is always constantly being hijacked in order to make you spend, because these companies with giant budgets that have really clever psychological tricks to make you part with your money, they're after you all the time. Successful people become successful because of habits that they instill. It is not, you know, oh, I wish today to save the money, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to do it. When I talk about making it a habit to save, it means instantly, the minute you make any money, the minute it comes into your bank account, 10% straight away goes into your savings account that you do not touch. I personally had a savings account that I called Wisdom and Immortality, and it was a bank account that I never touched, ever. And that was my 3 to 6 months emergency savings. So that was always topped up. And I did that by putting 10% of my income immediately, before anything else, always went there. I paid myself first to show the universe that I was worthy. Then I had different bank accounts that were split up. One was investment, one was education, one was travel, and then just the everyday spending accounts. I would put money aside into those 3 categories, the 3 categories that represented what was most important to me and my priorities in life, and I would put the money there. And I would not be able to withdraw money from those accounts unless I was spending it on those things. The only place I could withdraw money from was from the everyday account, which didn't have a lot of money in it at all. Like, I made sure strategically that I couldn't have a lot of cash in that bank account, and I was able, with my strong will and my habits, resist taking money out of those accounts. And instead, I was so overjoyed by the fact that these numbers were raising, and I could just visualize my trip in Paris and Italy, floating down the Venice canals eating ice cream. I visualized it every time there was money increasing in my travel section of my savings. Now, if you're not so strong-willed and you see money in that account, you're like, woo, time to spend it, yay, this is awesome. 2 things you can try. Number 1, hide your accounts. I did this myself as well. So I would hide all the accounts that I wasn't able to touch, and I only had the everyday spending one available to me. So whenever I logged into internet banking, all I could see was this pitiful amount of money. And I was like, Lord almighty, I don't have that much money. I can't buy this item. Out of sight, out of mind always helped me to feel like I didn't have enough cash, whilst in the background there was money that was building up because I was so diligently putting money aside for savings. If that is not strong enough for you, the second thing you can do is to have a separate bank account that you send money to, that you get penalized if you take the money out of. If you do not have the will yet to resist taking that money out, and if you're so afraid that something might go wrong, well, you're gonna probably just have to pay the penalty of, if things do go wrong, just suck it up and pay that little penalty of taking the money out eventually. But the benefits of you not touching that money is so much greater than the potential that you might have to pay a penalty in order to access that cash. Out of sight, out of mind, make saving a habit. 10% instantly. Pay yourself first. Ignore income increases. The amount of money you make doesn't equate to the amount of money you should be spending. Let's say that you live off a paycheck of $50,000 a year and you're living comfortably, you're making things work, you're not struggling too much, and then you get a pay rise to $70,000. Most people at this stage are going to be like, wow, I have $20,000 extra to spend, let me go shopping, let me buy these things, and then you get yourself to the exact same level where you are, again, probably living paycheck to paycheck, probably not saving money, probably not advancing yourself and making yourself financially independent, or on the track to be $20,000 a year that could have ended up in your savings account, could have been going towards investment properties, towards buying silver or gold or whatever other investments that you choose. The big thing to keep note of whenever there is an income increase, ignore it. It is not there. Just make yourself pretend that you're still living on the exact same amount of money and put away more money into your savings or into your investment bank accounts or into your wisdom and immortality bank accounts. You will still be fine. You're still going to exist. You've seen it before. You've seen it for yourself. You've lived comfortably on $50,000 a year. Now you get to reap the rewards truly for the income increase, and instead you're going to be working towards your financial future. So ignore your income increases. There's a quote from one of my favorite financial books, which is The Richest Man in Babylon, that says, "That which each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our income unless we protest to the contrary." Warren Buffett still lives in the exact same house that he's lived in for years and years and years and years and years. He never saw the need to increase the house because he wasn't doing this to look rich. He was doing it to become rich. So if Warren Buffett is able to control his spending and not be susceptible to the shiny objects, I'm pretty sure you can do it too. Be aware of the changing narrative. Humans are social creatures, and we often act from a place of not wanting to be rejected by others. So we conform to ideologies because we see others doing it, and we know that by following in their footsteps, we are going to be more loved and respected. This isn't a hack for your mind as such, but knowing this information might help you shift your perception of what you should be striving for in life, because we are social creatures. I was speaking to an American, and I asked him if there was a general shift from working ridiculous hours in America, usually 52 weeks a year. People are afraid to take 1 week off on holidays because of that hard work mentality, which is just crazy, and the rest of the world looks upon that like complete madness because that is not work-life balance. I asked if there's a shift away from that, and he said yes, that the younger generations are now not so inclined to be consumeristic, that they are actually more interested in having less possessions, minimalism, and having more experiences. And they're actually sitting on a lot of their cash. They live in smaller places. They want to save for the future. Now, I don't know where this comes from. Most likely because there is a rise in YouTube and a lot of YouTubers speak about minimalism and helping you to get ahead. Now, some people might freak out over minimalism, but there's different ways to approach minimalism. It doesn't just mean you have to have one item of clothing and that's it. It's essentially making sure that you think very consciously about the things that you buy and ensuring that these things fill your space with joy. If you look at an item and it doesn't actually spark joy and make you feel something, it shouldn't be in your space. It takes away your money, heart, and time, and also clutters mental space. So I think maybe perhaps because of the rise in minimalist YouTube videos, as well as seeing all these people on social media traveling, experiencing life, maybe people are realizing that more importantly than having, the huge house with a white picket fence, it's more important to live and experience life. And that is one of the most exciting things that this American could have told me, because I was like, wait, we are rebels against the consumer mindset that they have tried so long and hard to instill in us. And we're taking full control, ownership. We don't react to advertising messages anymore. We know the future that we want to create for ourselves. And by being aware of the social norm that's changing, I think everybody can see that, wait, I used to just try to strive for this because I thought it was normal for me to do that. I thought I needed to impress my friends with a big house, but now people are starting to realize that it's more about who you are, what kind of experiences you've had in life, what's your internal landscape. Are you a nice person? That's more important than the things you have. So we are shifting and evolving as humanity, and it's really exciting and really beautiful. So be aware of that. If you're still trying to chase impressing people, maybe you're just looking at the wrong places. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have extra hacks on how to program your mind in order to get excited for saving, I would love to hear it. Please do the #1 exercise at the top. It is going to change your brain. It's wonderful. I really, really hope you take the time to do so. Don't forget, we have this epic newsletter that I think you'll love, so make sure you subscribe. And also the pre-sale of our course membership combo, huge discount for lifetime access. Check it out, link in the bio, and I will see you in the next one.